Yo, welcome back to the channel. Recovery, we just don't look for recovery. We search for it no matter how long, no matter how wide, no matter how tall, no matter how anything, we gonna go find that joint. Now today, guys, it's gonna be a different one today. It's gonna be a little different video. I wanna talk about a good friend of mine that passed away. You know what I'm saying? R.i.p. to him. Money Mike, that was his name. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I want to talk about this is because, for one, I've been thinking about him a lot lately, you know what I'm saying? And I was locked up when he passed, so I didn't really get to deal with the whole situation of him passing or whatever, because I didn't get to go to the funeral or whatever because I was locked up and, you know what I'm saying, all that good stuff. But the thing about it is, like, I want to sit there and tell all you guys that you got to deal with your heart and your pain and stuff like that. And so, me talking about him is going to deal with the fact that I didn't talk about him in the point of before. You know what I'm saying? To tell you guys a little about him, you know what I'm saying? Just so I can get over, you know what I'm saying? The fact that he's gone, you know what I'm saying? I miss him a lot. That's my boy. You know what I'm saying? Even though we was in the game together and, you know, it was a part of my life that I don't want, like, I'm not a part of anymore. Don't mean like I didn't miss the person that he was or whatever. And you know what? I think for sure, and people that watch this, they know Mike, and I'm sure that he's proud of us. That's in recovery and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he's looking down and definitely proud of us for the stuff that we accomplished and stuff like that. But so let me tell you a little bit about Mike. You know what I'm saying? Mike was, he was older than me. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of look at him like, like an older brother in some way. It's, you know what I'm saying, in some sorts of that way and stuff. And like he, of course, yeah, he so, you know what I'm saying, he did criminal activity just like I did. But that's what I learned off the point about, looking out for the hood, like looking out for people. Because Mike would always look out for anybody. If you needed anybody to come through, if you need any, you come to Mike and be like, Mike, can I borrow some money so I can pay my bills? Can I get some money, get diapers, get what? You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case it was, Mike was that type and that person to give, you know what I'm saying, his shirt off his back. You know what I'm saying? To anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's just who he was. And that's how I kind of got, well, you know what I'm saying, for the most part about how I was when I was in the game. You know what I mean? That's why when I was sitting there and I'm not glorifying anything about what I did because it was always wrong. All of it was wrong. But that's why I would, when I hit stores or whatever, I help people out with school clothes, this and that. I didn't charge them very less than nothing because, you know what I'm saying, I learned that from Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how he was. Like I said, he was there for everybody. He was, you know what I'm saying, no matter what it was, you know what I mean, it don't matter, you can come to Mike for whatever, it don't matter if you owe him $100, if you came to Mike like, you know what, Mike, I know I owe you $100, but I need $20 to get my kids this or this, you know what I'm saying, do this or that, or whatever the case may be, or I'm hungry and I ain't ate in 3 days, and Mike would give it to you. That's just the type of dude he was, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people was always around Mike, and sometimes, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a real ass dude. Sometimes they were just around him to use them, and that's, but at the end of the day, he didn't really mind that shit. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really care. You know what I'm saying? Because he loved helping out people. He loved being that person that people can rely on. That, and he had it. You know what I'm saying? The money. So he just did. And I ain't even gonna lie, sometimes he didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes he would like be giving you his last, but he knew one thing that, you know what I'm saying, he can make it up easily because he was good at what he did. And like I said again, I'm not saying what he did was right. You know what I'm saying? But that's just what all he knew for a long time. But like I said, he kind of took that bad situation and he switched it into a good situation. You know what I mean? He did good at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, like I said, that's just who he was. But like me and Mike, you know each other for a long time, and you know what I'm saying. Like I said, like we wouldn't even deal, like we would deal with each other about like the life of the game or whatever. But we would sit there and have conversations about all this stuff too. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's crazy because like I said, I was locked up when Mike, you know what I'm saying, when Mike passed away. And it was crazy. I ain't gonna get in the way, getting a point of how it all happened, but you know what I'm saying, it wasn't a good situation, you feel me? But like, I can only think to myself because he was leaving from one of my homeboy houses that I go to that I was at all the time. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, of course, I think that like if I wasn't locked up and I was out, maybe I could have, you know what I'm saying, changed that situation. But at the end of the day, if shoulda, coulda, wouldas, you know what I'm saying, they ain't really gonna make no situation better. You feel me? I mean, he chose to do what he did, and that's what it was. And a lot of people they know that he was actually sick anyway. You know what I mean? And so I think he went out the way he wanted to go out. You know what I'm saying? He did. I think that he didn't want to suffer. So that makes me feel a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, a lot of people didn't know how sick he really was. I knew how sick he was, of course, because like I said, I talked to him all the time about everything. But so at the end of the day, I just think about like, you know what I'm saying, he in a better place, and like I said, he didn't have to suffer. So I mean, there ain't that's how I look at it. But at the same time though, I still wanted to get on here and I wanted to talk about this because like, like I said, you in a situation and you don't talk about what is hurting you or what's on your mind or whatever, somebody passed or whatever, and you just hold that shit in. I'm gonna tell you one thing though, me personally, gonna end up going right back to the same shit that I was doing before to cover up the pain. You know what I'm saying? We trying to get to the point where we don't have to use drugs and alcohol no more and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's best to talk about that situation to your mom, your loved one, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. I don't care who you talk to about, but don't hold the situation in. And like I said, I talk to AJ about this, about Mike and stuff all the time. But my whole point was like, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to let you guys know, you know what I mean? Because like I said, a lot of people gonna think about Mike and probably think about Mike about all the bad stuff he did or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, he did criminal activity and he did this and he did that. But at the end of the day, who the person was, I want to celebrate and talk about who he was, you know what I'm saying, as a person, not about what he did. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole point. And that's the main fact that I'm trying to say, because at the end of the day, like I ain't like he helped, like, you know what I mean? Helped so many people. And you know what? And the crazy part about it is like the people that I know, like if you live in Jackson or whatever, and I know you and you knew Mike, and it's crazy to even see that a lot of people that knew Mike and hung out with Mike or whatever is getting sober right now. So even in him passing, the way I look at it, he's still helping people. You know what I'm saying? He's still helping people change their life. And like, because that's the type of person he was. You know what I mean? And it's crazy to say this, but they're like, you know what, Mike gone. There ain't even no point in me using drugs no more. You know what I mean? Because like that, like, so I might as well get myself better. And like, that's the type of person he was too. He would always tell people like, you know what? I know what I do. I know I did that, but I wish you get your stuff together. You need to do this. You need to do that. You know what I mean? I don't want to see you out here like this. I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like, so like it's crazy. So I think so as soon as he passed, you feel me? A lot of people just like, you know what? This life ain't even worth it no more. You know what I mean? And getting high ain't worth it no more. Getting this ain't worth it no more. And like I said, a lot of people that hung out with Mike, that was close to Mike, like I was, like, is getting sober right now, and that's crazy. Like I said, he, like, to me, it just seems like to me like he helping people out, even in his passing. You know what I mean? He's still making an imprint, even in his passing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy to me to even think about that. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't think about that at first, but even like, this person that I know that a lot of people know, like I don't put names out there or whatever, but she was like really, really bad, just like we all was. So I can't even say she was any worse than what it was. But she's even. I heard she's even in recovery now. You know what I mean? Which is amazing. You know what I mean? And that was one of the person that was one of the closest to Mike. You know what I'm saying? Well, it was a lot of people close to Mike, but you know what I'm saying though. Like you know what I mean. But anyway, like it's crazy to even see like that's how good of a person he was. Like you know what I mean. He carried a lot of people. You know what I mean. And when he passed, it ain't like these people were just like, okay, well, I, just got worse and worse and worse because Mike left. And it's crazy to even see. And I really, I understand a lot of stuff. But this right here, it's amazing to me. Because it is like I said, it ain't like these people got worse and worse and worse. Like, oh, Mike's gone. I'm just going to be drunk and just get super high and just forget my life and stuff. It was a complete freaking opposite. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got better. They're like, oh, well, I'm going to recovery. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing what I need to do to make him proud. You feel me? And, like, that's the type of person that, you know what I'm saying, to me, that I would want to be in, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's amazing to me. That's amazing to see. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't even understand it really, but hey. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, if you see it, it should be the opposite. But like I said, that's how many lives this man in touch. You feel me? And it's crazy to me because like I said, I find myself thinking about him lately and stuff like that. And that's why, like I said, I had to put this out there because like, it's kind of like, it's weird. You know what I mean? But it's not weird. But like that guy was like, I don't know. He was something else. You know what I'm saying? If you knew Mike, you knew, he was funny. He was like, you know what I mean? And he, just was laid back type. You know what I mean? Just laid back. And everybody, like I tell you one thing, I'll go one around to see him one time. Well, not even more than one time. And then, yeah, people lining up out the door. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm not fan of, whatever. Not saying that was a good thing because it ain't a good thing. But I'm saying, like, that's how many people knew him. And it wasn't even just them going over to get this or get that or whatever. They were just going over to see him, to chill him, to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Because so many people went over there and talked to him about, I need some advice about this. What do I do about this, Mike? What do I do? You know what I'm saying about that or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? To even see that whole point. So, and the reason why I want to talk, what I wanted to say, what I was saying about Mike and what I wanted to talk about Mike, because in every bad situation, there's always good. And that's the point where I was trying to get to, that I wanted to tell you guys. You know what I mean? Yes, we might have did some bad things in our past. You know what I'm saying? But I guarantee you one thing though. There was always something good that you did too. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say that because I'm saying, putting Mike as an example. You know what I'm saying? He did a lot of bad things, yes, but he helped so many people out too. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. So, like, I'm sure everybody out here, if you was in your addiction, you might have did some bad things. And that is true. You know what I'm saying? But there's plenty of good things that you did too. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about your recovery or do this or your past or you trying to get with it, get over it, you know what I'm saying? Don't always just think about the bad. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not what it's all about. In every bad situation, there's a good, you can learn from it. You know what I mean? Anything that I did in my past that was bad or whatever, I learned from. You know what I'm saying? I learned from it. That's what, like, and I said before to you guys that I wouldn't change it for the world. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't change it for the world because that's who made me who I was today. You know what I mean? So, like, and like a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, made me who I am today. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. And that, even in the situation with Mike, you know, like I told y'all, I was locked up when that happened with Mike. You know, I couldn't even go to his funeral, and that shit kind of hit me hard. You feel me? But then again, though, although the point of me wanting to change and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? That made me want to change too, because like, this is who I'm gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Me locked up when something ever happens, and like, you know, bad or good, and in the people's lives that I care about, and I'm not gonna be able to hear because I'm gonna be locked up. You know what I mean? Like, that was a big change for me. Like, you know what I mean? And like, especially with my kids, you know what I'm saying? That's just like that was like just a good friend of mine. But like with my kids, you know what I mean? Especially my, you know, AJ being pregnant or whatever, being locked up for that, like, you know what I'm saying? Or my kids' graduation or whatever, or my mom, or something happens to my mom, or, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a point of, that made me, you know what I'm saying, think about my life more. So like, that bad situation that happened to him is what I'm trying to say, that I even learned something good in that situation. You know what I mean? And that's just what it was and how it is. You know what I mean? So, you know, like, it's hard to explain, but it was just a point of like, I couldn't do that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, that was the final, like, I lost a lot of people in this game, a lot of people who knew what I do or whatever, or what I used to do, I'm sorry. But like, that one right there, like, hit me hard, you feel me? Because like, and then, like I said, he was already sick, so I already knew what was coming, but just how the way the whole situation happened or whatever, it just like hit me hard. And then it thought to me too, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of scared me at the same time, really not scared me, but made me think like, damn, I could be next. That could be me next. You feel me? In that situation, you know, or a worse situation or a different situation. But it's just the whole point of life is too short to be living the way that we was living. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's why I had to make the change for my kids, for me. Well, from me first, because I told y'all before, you gotta make a change. You gotta want to change for you. But for me, you know what I'm saying? AJ, my kids, like my people, my mom, everybody I love out there. You know what I'm saying? They need me in this world. You know what I'm saying? Just like everybody needs y'all. You know what I'm saying? Also, so that's why I had to make a change. And you know what I'm saying? And like I said, and at some points, you know, even with him dying, you know what I'm saying, he saved my life. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I was thinking about quit, like already on the fence to quitting there, but like I said anyway, but when that happened and I heard that about that locked up, that just set in stone. You know what I'm saying? That just made that, you know what I'm saying, final. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was already there, but that just made it so I'm like, oh, I ain't never going back. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. You know, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? So like I said, I wanted to do this video to tell y'all about Mike, because he's a good friend of mine, and I needed to get over that anyway. But like, you know, like I said, I'll let, you know what I'm saying, my higher power lead me from at this point on. And me thinking about him and stuff like that, it just made me feel like I needed to speak on that. Because like I said, I talked to AJ about it before, and I talked to a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, my mom and stuff like that, but I ain't really talked about it, you know what I'm saying, type shit, you know. So I definitely wanted to say that, and, you know, like I said, like, I miss him a lot, but I got a lot of stuff to do. I just wanted to bring that on here, and you know what I'm saying, like I said, I miss him a lot, so that's, you know, R.I.P. to him. I know, like I said, I know he's smiling down on us, you know what I'm saying, like the people that he knew and he loved and he cared about, and he always gonna be there no matter what, you know what I'm saying, so, what?